Welcome to Unlearning with Laura, the podcast where you get to rewire your mind, reclaim your power, and break generational cycles. I'm Laura Stiles, clinical hypnotherapist and mindset coach, and founder of The Mindful Generation, the place where parents come to transform their lives and live with more purpose and freedom. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Mother Cup of Tea, a gorgeous range of herbal blends designed to support women's hormone health, energy and well-being. Honestly, they are like a hug in a cup. You can grab your 25% off of their wellness collection using the discount link in the show notes and use the code MINDFUL25. In the words of my youngest,
Yeah, we all love tea.
How cute was that? Before we dive into this episode, just a gentle reminder, if you are enjoying this podcast, please hit follow, like, subscribe or share it with a friend. It makes such a huge difference for a small business owner like me, and it really helps this podcast to reach more mums who need it. Hi, how are you all doing? I hope you're all good. I feel like it's been a while. It's been quite hard to keep up with the podcast recently, just because there's been a lot going on, all good. Clients, webinars, corporate workshops, that kind of thing. And it's obviously the time of year where we're entering silly season, festivities are getting busy, organising, planning, buying Christmas gifts, figuring out who's visiting and when and that kind of thing is going on in the background. So at the time of recording, we are at the end of November and it just feels okay at the minute. I don't feel too overwhelmed, but I am very much protecting my energy. I am saying no to a lot of things. For example, Christmas cards. I'm not writing Christmas cards this year. If you're interested in my 6 tips to simplify the kind of lead up to Christmas, check out my social media. I did do a post the other day on Instagram all about how I'm just allowing it to feel easy and not too overwhelming. And I kind of laid it out in 6 different tips. If you want to check that out, it might be helpful. But aside from that, I'm just going to dive into the episode. I'm going to try and make this a short one, but let's see how we go. It feels a bit of a different kind of topic to what I usually put out there, but I wanted to talk about something that I'm so into, so interested in, something that I embody myself, something that I have always been a fan of, and that is law of attraction, manifestation, energetics, whatever you want to call it. And it might feel really woo-woo if you're not really into it or if you don't fully understand it. But what I wanted to put out there was something that might feel helpful because it's about the science behind it. It's not just, oh, let's put a little visual on my vision board and hope for the best. And let's just visualize something in my meditation and just hope that that comes true next week. You know, I love debunking the myths behind it because I'm very into the science behind everything, and that's why I talk about the nervous system a lot when it comes to parenting. And I'm going to talk about the actual physics, the quantum physics and the science behind manifestation and the unconscious mind. And this is the work that I do in my programs. I'm a manifesting generator. That's my human design. And I'm very good at manifesting the things that I want in my life. And I always have been. And I've been into it since I was a teenager. I fully believe it and I fully embody it. And I teach this in my programs because I believe that you can do the mindset work. You can do the hypnosis. You can do the nervous system work. But at the end of the day, if your nervous system doesn't feel safe because of your subconscious programming and therefore your beliefs and a lack mindset, for example, that's when the energetics and the law of attraction comes in. So I hope you'll find some value in this. And again, this is really just to educate on the science behind it. So let's talk about transforming your life as a busy mum and how you can actually really harness it to feel less stressed, less anxious, more abundant, more joyful and in control of your life. And I really do know how it feels. As you all know, if you've been listening for a while or if you're following me, I have experienced burnout. I can be prone to overwork and have to have a bit of a recalibration every now and then. And you might be someone that is juggling everything, you know, a career or a business, family, your home, the mental load. It's really hard to switch off, isn't it? So if you're seeking more freedom, more flexibility, more money, more time, more support, but you also do want to feel calm and present and joyful whilst doing it, then this is for you. And the good news is you have the power to create that life. And honestly, I'm not just talking woo-woo bullshit. Everything I teach is grounded in science. So the neuroscience, the quantum physics, the measurable energetic field that surrounds your body, this is what I'm going into. I love telling people about how your thoughts, emotions and energy are constantly creating your reality. It might sound hard to believe, but trust me, we'll dive into it. Grab a notebook if you feel like it will help you, actually, because it might be supportive to make some notes. So let's try and see what we can shift, and let's see what's possible for you. We'll start by talking about your brain. Your brain has one job, and that is to keep you safe, to keep you alive. It does this by deciding what is important and what isn't. So over time, your brain gets programmed based on what feels familiar. So I talk a lot about the imprint years, the years from 0 to 7, and actually even when you're in the womb, that is included as well. All of this is building those imprint years and that programming that are conditioning you. And if you grew up in an environment where during those years stress was normal, or sacrificing your needs was normal, or it was modelled to you that rest was unproductive, maybe you had the message that money felt scarce, then your brain believes that these states are familiar and therefore safe. Our brains are not lazy, but they're really only designed for that one thing, keeping you safe, keeping you alive. And so the less work your brain has to do, the better for your brain. Anything that's different, change, transitions, something that's different is viewed as a threat. And that means right now your brain may be filtering out opportunities for peace and opportunities for abundance or support or time, freedom, joy or connection with your kids because they don't feel familiar yet. And that's why so many mums feel stuck in overwhelm, anxiety or scarcity. Even when they desperately want something different, it can feel almost impossible to create those changes, especially if you're sleep deprived and living in survival mode. So how do we fix this? Well, if you focus your attention on what you do want, not what you don't want, this provides salience to your brain. And that is signalling, basically. So you're signalling to your brain, this matters, this is safe, and this is important. Once your brain recognises that it's important, it starts showing you opportunities and solutions and pathways that support that reality. This is called the reticular activating system, or RAS. You've experienced it before. So, when you're looking to buy a new car, for example, and suddenly you see that type of car all over the roads, that car was always there. It's just your brain didn't think that it mattered, so it was filtering it out. And the same principle applies to your life as a mum. So what you focus on, your brain will highlight. So an example of this could be a client that I had a while ago. She felt like she was just riddled with anxiety all the time and she really struggled with it. And it took over her life quite a lot. And she really wanted to not feel that way. But she kept saying to herself, she kept saying to me, I just want to not feel anxious. I just want to feel like anxiety isn't there anymore. But what she was doing was she was focusing on what she didn't want. So we had to flip it around and say, well, what do you want? How does life look when you're not riddled with anxiety? What does that version of you look like? Let's focus on the positive and what that version of you looks like. How does she behave? How does she look? What does she wear? And we did a lot of visualization around it, and we just focused on the positives, and that really supported her when she was in my program. And she made huge strides in changing her anxiety. The next important thing to focus on is the subconscious mind. So once your brain identifies what matters, that information gets embedded into your subconscious mind. This is your autopilot system that influences 95% of your thoughts and emotions. Those thoughts and emotions create your energetic field. This is a real, measurable field that sends out a constant broadcast, a bit like a radio station. Your current broadcast is tuned either to the life that you want, which might look calm, like freedom, abundance, joy, support, love, full of fun, or the life that you're currently experiencing, which perhaps could be full of overwhelm, stress, chaos, guilt, and scarcity. And if you feel stuck in the same patterns, it's not because you're failing, it's because your subconscious is still tuned to the old programs. So the stress and the scarcity frequency. When you upgrade your subconscious program, you're automatically upgrading your thoughts and emotions, your energetic broadcast, and the reality that you attract. And then suddenly the life you want starts showing up. Calmer mornings, more support, abundance in your finances, time freedom, fun with the children, and energy to feel like yourself again. Step 3 is the energy and quantum physics. So I want to layer in the energetics and the science here because I know it all sounds a little bit, like, what was that program? Quantum Leap. I remember watching that when I was younger. I don't want this to sound like the good old Quantum Leap program, but honestly, I used to love stuff like that. There's also a really good episode of Inside Number 9 where it was about time hopping and quantum leaping, which I love. I just really am into stuff like that. But there is something called the observer effect. So you can look this up. It's fascinating, and it shows you that simply observing a particle changes how it behaves. Honestly, YouTube it is really, really interesting. So if you translate this into your life, infinite energetic possibilities exist around you at all times. And if you've ever read the book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, you'll know about this. You'll have the foundational kind of learnings of this already. So which of those potentials about, the possibilities existing around you at all times, which of those potentials actually manifests physically depends on where you place your focus and attention. So if you focus on stress and lack and overwhelm, you continue creating it because you're almost attracting it. If you focus on calm, abundance, support, and fun, you begin drawing that into your life. Your potential futures, like more peace, more abundance, more support, and more joy, are all floating around you all the time. You don't actually have to work hard to get them. You just have to focus on them, feel them as if they're real, and draw them in energetically. So the key is to stop wanting, because wanting something comes from the energy of lack. You need to start being, so properly embodying that version of you who has the things that you want. And now this is the hard bit. This is quite hard to do, and I do struggle with this myself sometimes. But it is the most transformative. Because when you want something, you're broadcasting to the universe, I don't have it. As I said, it comes from that lack energy, and lack is a very low vibrational frequency. If you want a more calm life and, where you don't feel so time poor, where you're abundant in every way and where you feel like you've got the support that you really could do with right now, you almost need to stop wanting it. Instead, experience it and feel it and be it. So if you feel like the calm and the regulated version of you is already here, and if you feel the support as if it's already flowing to you, and feel the abundance as if it's already your reality, and really embody yourself as the mum who already has the life you desire, when you hold that frequency of joy, love and abundance, you shift your energetic broadcast completely. And when your energy aligns with your desired reality, the opportunities, solutions, support, abundance, everything that you've been dreaming of naturally just starts showing up. I realise this might sound really triggering because it might just be the most annoying thing in the world when you're in the depths of survival mode with very young children and I'm in your ear saying all of this. But let me reassure you, if you're unable to reach that state and you want to be an energetic match for that version of you, but it's not happening and you've tried really hard, more often than not, it's usually the case that healing needs to be done. At a nervous system level, which is, a subconscious level usually, healing needs to be done. And the repetition of hypnosis can really help with that. It could be quite a quick way to heal and process something that has been governing your life for quite a long time. But also the first step is just becoming aware. So you can go on a real self-development journey with this. If this is all fairly new to you, this could be your real first step into the awareness of what is driving you. And then you may go on a bit of a healing journey. And if you want my support with that, do reach out. And then you get to choose your reality, which is the super exciting bit. Now, I can vouch for this because I spent many years being in a really low vibrational frequency and I was sleep deprived. So I did find it really hard to shift out of this for quite a long time. But when you wake up each morning and you've only had 3 hours sleep and you've been like that for years and you're just sick of it and you resent your partner and you really, you're in survival mode, there comes a point where you either just accept and surrender and just try and find gratitude and joy in the little micro moments, which is what I ended up doing, or you just keep pushing for the support. You keep kind of making those passive-aggressive comments or really nagging or really just complaining and moaning to people around you that life is shit, it's really hard, I don't know what to do to get help. I'm saying this because this was definitely my reality. I would complain a lot, absolutely play the victim, speak to one of my parents on the phone and really just be super sad and upset and cry. And I really was in desperation, like survival mode. But it wasn't really giving me any solutions. It was getting things off my chest, but there wasn't any help coming and nothing was ever changing. But when I did start just accepting and saying to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to lay next to the kids at night and not moan about it. I'm actually just going to enjoy this time and say to myself, actually, I might miss this when they're older. Actually, I'm really enjoying the snuggles and there is oxytocin flooding my system and that is the hormone of love and it feels really good. And I'm grateful that actually we've got a roof over our heads. We're feeling warm and snuggly. They are healthy. I'm healthy. I started just really practicing gratitude because that is one of the highest vibrational frequencies that you can operate from. And it really did start to shift things. It was a little bit gradual, but I assure you, actually, this can happen quite quickly. So here's what can happen when your brain, subconscious, and energy align. You notice more ease in your day-to-day life, which I did when I started just surrendering. You attract more support and people and opportunities that lighten your load. And that did happen with me. My mother-in-law started saying to me quite often, do you want me to take some laundry home and do some laundry for you? Would you like me to do some ironing for you? Shall I come round and clean your oven? Like, I was getting all of these really beautiful offers from my mother-in-law because she lives fairly nearby. And we never had that when the kids were really young because we lived further away. And, those opportunities of lightening my load were just so appreciated. You also feel calmer and more present with your kids. And you attract abundance, more money, time, opportunities and fun start flowing in. Your decisions can come from clarity and not stress. And your life begins to feel effortless and joyful and much more aligned. Now, I know this all sounds like magic, but I can promise you it is science, energy and conscious creation working together. If you're listening to this and thinking, seriously, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't understand. I don't believe any of it. Just go onto Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast and listen to Esther Hicks, Neville Goddard, Rhonda Byrne, Catherine Zenkina, Francesca Amber. I mean, there's so many people that, have been teaching about this for such a long time. There's also a guy called Matt Cook, who is a manifestation speaker and coach. There's so many people who are teaching this and probably doing a much better job than me at educating and explaining how it all works. But I am just so fascinated by it. And the reason why I help my clients with this side of things is because I truly believe I would be doing a disservice if I was only covering the conscious parenting and the educating and the nervous system side of things and the brain, the subconscious work. I just think this is the missing piece that ties it all together. And this is a science that you can absolutely master. Once you focus, feel, get clear on what you want and really tune in to that frequency that you want to tune into and embody that version of you that you want to start operating at and just really being that higher self version of you, things can shift quite quickly. So I will leave it there. If you have any questions about this episode, please feel free to email or DM me. I love talking about it and I'm happy to answer any questions. And if you are interested in finding out how you can work with me, you can book in a free no obligation call using my Calendly link, which is in the show notes. I am looking for one client to work with actually at a beta rate. So it's to trial a shorter version of my 12-week signature program. It's to do an 8-week version of it, and it's specifically designed for the mums who want to feel calm, aligned and abundant whilst creating the life that they want. It involves 6 one-to-one weekly calls, but there'll be 2 weeks where you have integration weeks, which is voice note support. You receive a beautiful gift in the post. You have 1 year of access to your private tailored portal of resources, so tailored to you with your own audios. And there's so much stuff in there, packed full of really awesome but manageable audios, meditations, hypnosis, EFT, videos, that kind of thing. It's really transformative stuff. It costs £555, but you can pay in instalments, whether that's 2 or 3. It's up to you. In exchange for this, I'm asking for some feedback on how it's worked out for you in this format with the 8 weeks, and also a testimonial as well. And just to see, because I've had some people do the 12-week program and they've been absolutely fine after like 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm just testing it out, and I would really appreciate one more person. I've got 3, separately doing it starting next month, and I'd love to have one more person. So if you are a mum listening to this and you're really interested in trying hypnosis or rewiring your brain and doing the mindset work, mastering your subconscious and consciously tuning your energy so that your reality matches the version of you who already has it all, then you're going to love this. And it's going to help you to take control back of your life again and for life to feel easy again. So book in a call if you're interested. And what else? One final thing. There is an award ceremony going on next year, early next year, called the Glow Mama Awards. And it's like the BAFTAs, but for mums. And currently they have nominations open for all sorts of different types of mums, like influencer mums and wellness mums and all sorts. And I would really appreciate it if I've ever helped you on this podcast, or if any episode is really supported, or any of my content, my emails, if you've been part of like one of my corporate webinars, anything like that, I would really appreciate it if you could find the link below in the show notes and just take 1 or 2 minutes of your time to nominate me as Best Wellness Mama. It would mean the world to me. I'd love to be nominated for one of those awards. All you need to do is type in my Instagram handle, which is @themindfulgeneration. I hate asking for this stuff, but sometimes you just have to do it. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you next time. Bye.